In fact, the numbers are pretty even in numbers. But as a story, it doesn't carry on like the previous books that we've looked at. It has a beginning, and it has an ending, but there's nothing in the middle. It takes this big leap from where we start, and it jumps over everything until it gets to the end. And we'll notice that as we take a look at it. Well, it's now been about 1 year after the Exodus from Egypt, and Israel has been camped around Mount Sinai for 11 months. And during that time, the Lord was preparing the people in their religious practice. Did you notice that? It is always best to be right with God before you start taking on an earthly task. The law was given with its commandments, its precepts, its ordinances, and its statutes. The tabernacle had been constructed, set up, and consecrated, and the Aaronic priesthood had been established. With the important basics of life being established, it was now time to prepare for the movement into the promised land. To do this, an army needed to be established, and an order of movement needed to be set. And this is what we will see occur here at the beginning of the book of Numbers. And so as we read here in Numbers 1, the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the 2nd month, in the 2nd year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls. From 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. So this numbering was to include only men of military age. This is the first mention of a draft in the scriptures. This counting would not have taken a long time to complete, since a previous numbering had been taken in Exodus chapter 38, when all the firstborn were counted by the Levites so they could collect the redemption tax for use in the tabernacle. This time Moses and Aaron were to be assisted by the chief of each one of the tribes. And next we are given the names of each one of these tribal leaders. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you. Of the tribe of Reuben, Elizur, the son of Shedir, you got to excuse my pronunciations here now, and Simeon, and Shelumiel, the son of Zurishaddai, of Judah, Nashon, the son of Amminadab, of Issachar, Nathanael, the son of Zurar, of Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Helon, of the children of Joseph, of Ephraim, Elishama, the son of Amminahad, of Manasseh, Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur, of Benjamin, Abidan, the son of Gideoni, of Dan, Ahazar, the son of Amishadai, of Asher, Padigal, the son of Ochran, Of Gad, Elisaph, of the son of Duel. Of Naphtali, Jair, the son of Enan. And these were the renown of the congregation, princes of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands in Israel. And Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names. That was fun. Not too many of those names are familiar today or used today by people, at least in the United States. And maybe in Israel they have somebody with those names. But so we looked at these people. These were the important people in Israel at the time. And the first thing that struck me was that 40 years later, none of them would be alive. Didn't matter how important you were. When the time comes, you're gone. And then in verse 18 it says, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. As the Lord commanded Moses, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai." And so the numbering quickly and orderly proceeds. This next section is very repetitious, so we're only going to scan through it to make note of some of the important facts. We'll look at the numbers of each tribe, but you will not even have to add them because the total's given to us at the end of the list. As we look at these verses, look for what is repeated. So we look in Numbers 1:20, and where it says, "The children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, by their polls, every man from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Reuben, were 46,500. Of the children of Simeon, by their generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, those that were numbered of them, according to the number of the names, by their polls, every man from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Simeon, were 59,300. Of the children of Gad, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. In Numbers 125, 45,650. In verse 27, Judah had 314,600. And so on and so on. And so we're just going to, you can look down through there, all the way down to verse 46. What was being repeated? All the little phrases that kept being repeated. Can you give me one of them? Their generations. Each person counted had to be able to prove that they were in the generational line of one of the sons of Jacob. If they couldn't prove that, they weren't counted. Remember, scattered throughout this group of people are those that had come out of Egypt but were not part of Israel. And so they were separated. What's the next one that's repeated?
Every male from 20 years old and upward.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. It goes after their generations. What's the next phrase?
After their families.
After their families. As the generational line grew, it began to split into different family groups. And proof of belonging to one of those families needed to be provided in this counting. And then it was by the house of their fathers. Sons were often surnamed after their fathers, and so we often hear in the scriptures this statement, the son of, and also sometimes with the Hebrew term, bar, such as in Simon Bar Jonah in the New Testament. So we read those names and they're counted, but only that they were not to be considered for fighting in the military. Where did I jump here? There we go. All right, and then the next one. What's the next phrase? Those that were numbered according to the number of their names by their polls. And so this refers to the method of counting. Each man's name was recorded, and each head or poll was counted. And during this process, they would also then be separated into groups, usually groups of 100 or sometimes less of 50. And then it says, from
Every male
from 20 years old and upward. Only the men who were 20 years old or older were considered for this numbering. And then the last phrase, all that were able to go to war. So out of that larger group, only those that were physically capable of fighting were counted. So now we know what these numbers all stand for. Those of us old enough to have experienced the military draft system will see this process. When we turned 18, we had to register and were immediately classed as 1A, the first ones to get called. Exemptions could be given for different purposes, such as you could get a 2S. That would allow the person to complete higher education, because this would supposedly make them more valuable to the military as leadership. And then after physical testing, some were determined to be physically unable, and there were other classifications finally ended with 4F, which means everybody had to go before you were going to get called. So having read the end of the book, I'm thinking again, everybody that was numbered here, except for a couple of people, were going to be dead years.
Bob, you care to speculate on why age 20 was placed here in the scriptures versus 18-year-olders, 19-year-olds?
Well, you know how stupid we were at 18. And they tell us that really we don't mentally get straightened out until we're 25, so at least the Lord knew to pick an older age here, I think, in order to do it. So, you know, other than that, I don't have any idea of why it was 20. You had to have a beginning number someplace, but certainly by the age 20, well, you know, in those older times, people were further advanced than we are today. We're sort of lazy at growing up in these days, so I think, you know, 20 was a good number to start with.
Most of them were married and had families by then.
What's that?
Most of them were married and had families.
Yeah, most of them would have been married by that time.
Did it have any, is there any relevance or connection to David's age when he went down into the valley, the giant?
Yeah, he hadn't turned 20 yet. He was younger than 20 when he went down to meet Goliath. How do we know that? Well, because his brothers were out fighting. He didn't get called. He wasn't 1A yet. Okay. Yes, sir.
Some think that David was the age of 17 when he fought Goliath.
Well, yeah, we don't know exactly what for sure, but all we know is that he was less than 20 at that time. Yep.
Some think that it has to do with an age of accountability, because in these times elsewhere, for instance, those who were able to enter the promised land had to be 20 years of age or under at the time that they had gotten to Kadesh Barnea. And so I think that may have to do with the age of accountability. But then you have the bar mitzvah, which takes place at the age of 13, so.
Yeah. But that's when they got their name. So they were counted as a son. That's when they got the bar name given to them. Well, anyway, as we go down through here, in verse 47, but the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. And so we have here a religious exemption. The Levites were scheduled to do something other than do the fighting. For the Lord had spoken unto Moses, saying, only thou shalt not number the tribe of Levi, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. This, as we'll see later, did not mean that they could not be numbered, they could not be counted, but only that they were not to be considered for fighting in the military. We'll also see in another place that the priests were to accompany the army when they went into battle, but they were not there to do any fighting. But thou shalt appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony, and over all the vessels thereof, and over all the things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle, and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it, and shall encamp round about the tabernacle. The entire tribe of Levi was chosen by God. Actually, they were chosen to replace the firstborn out of all the other tribes. And they were to care for the tabernacle and to protect it. By camping around the tabernacle, they prevented the other tribes from coming near to it, except as they properly approached it through the doorway on the east side of it. And when the tabernacle setteth forth, the Levites shall take it down, and when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. Later we'll see exactly how the Levites were to dismantle and carry and reassemble the tabernacle when the people moved from place to place. They were given the authority to kill anyone who tried to wrongfully enter the tabernacle. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard, throughout their host. But the Levites shall pitch round about the tabernacle of testimony, that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the children of Israel, and the Levites shall keep the charge of the tabernacle of testimony. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so did they. So this first step in preparing to proceed to the promised land, the people are obedient to the Lord's command. And then in chapter 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard, with the ensign of their father's house, far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. So during the previous year, the people had pitched their tents wherever they saw fit. No doubt they did it in family groups, but now that the march was going to start, order needed to be established. First, to provide for ease of movement, and secondly, to provide adequate protection for the entire group. And then we read, And on the east side, toward the rising of the sun, shall they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitch throughout their armies, and Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, shall be captain of the children of Judah. And his host and those that were numbered of them were 314,600. Those that do pitch next to him shall be the tribe of Issachar. And Nethanel, the son of Zuar, shall be captain of the children of Issachar. And his host and those that were numbered thereof were 54,400. Then the tribe of Zebulun and Eliab, the son of Helon, shall be captain of the children of Zebulun. And his host and those that were numbered thereof were 57,400. All that were numbered in the camp of Judah were 100,000 and 6,400 throughout their armies. These shall first set forth. So in terms of our modern army, this group would be classified as a field army. Judah's leader, Nahshon, would be, in this case, a 4-star general. And Nethanel and Eliab would be major generals. This group would be the first to enter any battle with an enemy that might confront them. When the camp was set up, they were in charge of protecting the eastern front. If you note, when they counted them, they sort of followed the ages of Jacob's sons. It started with Reuben and then went on. But here we see Judah, as Jacob had predicted of him, was to be the leader. And so they place him at the eastern front, where they will be the first ones to go out into a battle. And on the south side shall be the standard of the camp of Reuben, according to their families, and the captain of the children of Reuben shall be Eleazar, the son of Shadir. And his host and those that were numbered thereof were 46,500. And those which pitched by him shall be the tribe of Simeon, and the captain of the children of Simeon shall be Sheliomir, and the son of Zurishaddai. And his host and those that were numbered of them were 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the captain of the sons of Gad shall be Elisaph, the son of Ruel, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 45,650. And all that were numbered in the camp of Reuben were 100,050 and 1,450 throughout their armies, and they shall set forth in the second rank. So right behind Judah's army came Reuben's field army, and their main job was to protect the southern front when the camp was set, and then to protect the priests and the Levites as they moved the tabernacle during the march. If you looked at the numbers, you can see that they're pretty well evenly distributed in each one of the sections here. And then the tabernacle of the congregation shall set forth with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp as they encamp. So shall they set forth, every man in his place, by their standards. So then followed the Levites, and later we'll see exactly how the Levites were to proceed in the march. On the west side shall be the standard of the camp of Ephraim, according to their names, and the captain of the sons of Ephraim shall be Elishama, the son of Ammihud, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 40,500. And by him shall be the tribe of Manasseh, and the captain of the children of Manasseh shall be Gamaliel, and he and the son of Pedahzur, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 32,200. Then the tribe of Benjamin, and the captain of the sons of Benjamin shall be Abidan, the son of Gideoni, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 35,400. All that were numbered of the camp of Ephraim were 100,000 and 8,000 and 100 throughout their armies, and they shall go forward in the third rank. So we have a third field army with Elishama as its general, and they was followed the moving tabernacle and prevented it from being attacked on the western front as they camped. And the standard of the camp at Dan shall be on the north side by their armies, and the captain of the children of Dan shall be Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 62,700. And those that encamp by him shall be the tribe of Asher, and the captain of the children of Asher shall be Pagiel, the son of Ochran, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 41,500. And then the tribe of Naphtali, and the captain of the children of Naphtali shall be Ahira, the son of Enan, and his host and those that were numbered of them were 53,400. All that they were numbered in the camp of Dan were in 100,050 and 7,600. And they shall go hindmost with their standards. So the final fourth field army, under the command of Ahiezer, was responsible for protecting the north side of the camp when they were camped, and they moved out and acted as the rear guard during the march. These are those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, all those that were numbered of the camps throughout their host were 600,000 and 3,550. To put this number in perspective, it is approximately 1/2 the size of the present United States Army. But in its day, this was a reasonably large fighting force. But we must also consider that each field army was also responsible for protecting about 500,000 civilians following each one of them. Also keep in mind that none of these soldiers were battle-hardened individuals, except for a very few that had handled the Amalekite attack a year before. A third consideration is that they were not well armed at this time. But they did have something that better than armament. They had the Lord to protect them. As time went on, and as more battles were won, more armor would be collected from each one of the fallen soldiers of the other side. And so by the time they would reach the promised land, they were well armored. But the Levites were not numbered among them, the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So they pitched their standards, and so they set forward, every one after their families, according to the house of their fathers. And so as this march begins toward the promised land, the significant statement here is they did what the Lord commanded. But there will come a time when that's not true. And there will be consequences for not doing that. And so we leave you there with these amazing facts and numbers. But when you look at the overall picture in this beginning part, what's the most important thing? They did as the Lord commanded. Wouldn't it be nice to have had a life lived completely following each one of the Lord's commands? I know we're all tarnished with sin, and we've all stepped out of line for that. But today's a new day. Today's a day to start the march and to go by the standard of our family, the standard of Jesus Christ. And so we can follow his commands, and we'll get to the promised land as he's promised. Our Father in heaven, you placed before us what you did here with the nation of Israel. and how you organized them and proceeded them on their march toward the place that you desired them to be. And so, as they started off, we ask that we might be like that we might be faithful in your service completely until the end when we reach our promised land. And so we ask that, and we ask that you be with us throughout this day, that we might glorify your name and worship you, the only God that is worthy of any worship. And we ask this in the name of our blessed Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.